And then the big question about China, because you know, you don't have to look too far. I don't think China is our friend. You know, I think that I've been watching China, and we've been spending so much time as a nation in the Middle East, spending money and doing things, but yet China has always been there, lurking in the background. And now they're going to challenge us on the high seas, right, with the biggest, most effective Navy. They're super high tech. They're very, very intelligent. And they are a communist nation, and you could extrapolate this thing forward, and you know it's not really science fiction to think that this was a ploy where that virus was created. I mean, now we were stretching it out a bit, but that virus was created in a laboratory and unleashed in order to bring about the results that we're seeing right now. Now that would be a malevolent concept, right? But then again, they're not our friend. China is not our friend. I think that in the next years ahead, we will have to meet them on the battlefield, and it's because
Edward,
because they're not going to do us any favors. I don't think, in my opinion. I think China is the biggest threat we've got.
Yes, I don't foresee imminent war. I have read some pretty in-depth articles from the New York Times and the Washington Post, and I understand everybody says that those are skewed, that have explored that idea that maybe the COVID was created in a lab. Now, those articles couldn't definitively say whether it was or not.
How could they defeat us so easily without firing a shot? It's biological warfare, but from a different standpoint. In other words, not on the battlefield do you release the bacteria. You release it in a peaceful environment, but you do it covertly.
Right.
And then, wait a minute, we don't know anything about it. And you get the same effect. You kill 70,000 people and you ruin a nation's economy without firing a shot. Now, I'm not saying that happened, but I'm saying China is not our friend. And I believe that we will have to meet them on the battlefield, and it's coming sooner than later, because our interests are not, they are an aggressive international force, and their objective is to become the dominant player across the planet. And our objective
is to be the dominant player.
We are the dominant player.
Right.
So they are pushing us out in order to, and they've got 1 billion people. They've got 1 billion people. You know, they've got a lot of humans they can throw into the battlefield, more than us. Not to mention, they're not, you know, a third world nation. They are one of the most high-tech nations in the world right now.
Certainly.
And they will do anything. Even look what they've done with the intellectual, the theft of our intellectual properties. Now, what nation would allow businesses under their domain to do this and get away with it year after year, to the extent of billions of dollars of ripping our people off in this nation, you know, regarding intellectual property? What nation would encourage that or even allow that and look the other way? Not a nation that's looking at things straightforward, right?
Right.
Okay, that's what we're dealing with then. End of that story. I mean, they're no matter how much they smile, how much money they give away to third world nations to develop things, I think that's all in the greater plan. And I think that sooner or later we're going to have to wake up to China.
Right.
I can say this, you can't.
Right. Well, I could say, I will say to the viewers, you know, if you catch us early in the morning, right before a show, you understand the comfort that Edward and I have with each other, because Edward's allowed to tell me what he thinks for 2 minutes. This is raw and uncut. Edward, this is the early morning, Wednesday morning, Law Focus maybe. Edward show.
I think that, you know, all of this is coming to light. There's a lot of things we're going to find out over the next few months about how this thing really got started.
Well, I think that we're going to find out a lot about that. We're going to find out a lot about the Trump response. We're going to find out a lot about the Dem response. We're going to find out a lot about whether this economy has actually got a Band-Aid on it or whether it's been stitched up. I think we're going to find out tons of new things about precedent as it exists in the law, both constitutional issues and civil liability issues. And thankfully, Law Focus is going to be here to help us through it.
Right. Nathan, thank you.